make Nebraska the good life. This is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
8 months and 162 episodes. Can you believe that, Wyatt?
I've only been here for like 4 days, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. You're number 8, so. I tell you what, our first Drive Time Nebraska show aired on April 8th, and I want to thank our amazing guests over that period. We've had a lot of great shows with them in 2020. I'm looking forward to 2025 in just a couple of weeks. But a quick programming note for this week and for next week. Starting next week, we're going to be on break, Wyatt. We're going to take about a week and a half off, and we're not going to have a show due to Christmas and New Year's holidays. By the way, Christmas and New Year's fall right in the middle of the week. That's why we're going to get some, a little bit of time off and have some nationwide programming that will fill in when we're not here. So what I thought I'd do this week is highlight some of the great shows that we had over the past year. So we're gonna highlight some of those. If you've got a question or comment, or you want to rehear a show again, we'd love for you to call or text in 402-479-1400. You can also comment on any of the social media feeds as well. Well, back in November, first part of November, we had a guest on that shared some great information, especially as it relates, and this can help during the holidays. This can help you, like if you're having Christmas dinner, New Year's party with family members that you just don't get along with. I thought, you know what, this would be a great episode to come back on, because this past year, there's been a lot of disappointment with people. Disappointment with the election, the economy, maybe with your employer, business partner, didn't get the job you wanted, hurt by a spouse or a family member, whatever it might be. So this show is for you if you experience any of those or any kind of disappointment. So I'm excited to rehear from communications expert Lisa Moser. Lisa's a former Miss Ohio USA, former Mrs. International, author, international speaker, and successful businesswoman as well. She's from Ohio. We won't hold that against her, though. So we kind of joke around football. You know, there's a lot of disappointment with football this year. So this kind of help some of these us Husker fans. Anyway, she's going to share 6 vital tips to help us positively handle disappointment. And we're going to start that in the next segment. Speaking of the Huskers, how about the volleyball team?
Oh, my goodness, man. That was such a game Sunday.
That was sick. They were, I tell you what, the first match, I kind of was curious. I'm like, feeling a little uneasy. We got behind by about 4. I'm like, can you just make it over the hump? As soon as they did, it was like off to the races.
Can we talk about that one rally real quick?
Oh, yeah.
That made Sports Center everything. That was one of the most impressive sets of volleyball I've ever seen.
Is that the one with Rodriguez where she dug a couple, hit a couple back in?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that was pure art right there. That was awesome.
It was so good. Well, they're advancing to the Final Four, and that's going to take place on Thursday. Nebraska's going to take on Penn State. They beat us earlier this year, so we're going to see if we can rectify that and get back into the title match. That's going to be Thursday night at 8:00 for the first serve. You can hear it here on KLIN. The game before that, it's going to be Pittsburgh and Louisville. That's going to be a great one, too. That's Thursday at 5:30. So you went to the basketball game. That was an awesome game, too. We had a great weekend for Husker sports.
Dude, what a great weekend just to be a Husker fan, man. It was just awesome. Such a fun game. Obviously, Indiana, I think they were like second in the Big Ten. And, man, we came in and we bodied them, man. Pure grit. They held them all the way. There was a few little iffy points, but, man, towards the end, they just ran away with it. Such an awesome win for the Huskers.
It was really good. And you met somebody.
I did. I got to meet Dylan Raiola after the game, so that was pretty fun. So.
And you didn't ask him to come on the show. That's the only thing I was hoping. Oh, well. Next time.
Yeah, I'll let the boys down bad handle that.
There you go. Hey, Nebraska football's headed to
Pinstripe Bowl, baby.
And next year kicking off the season at?
Oh, yeah. Kansas City Chiefs Stadium.
Kansas City playing on Cincinnati. It was originally supposed to be at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, which would have at least given the Cincinnati fans maybe a little more edge to have some more fans there. But the reality is going to Kansas City, it's over. Like Nebraska will dominate.
Oh, my gosh.
As far as attendance.
Easily.
That game's going to be Thursday, August 28th. They had to move it around a little bit because the Chiefs, they're thinking the Chiefs might play the kickoff game for the NFL this year again. And if they do, it'll probably be at home.
I would not be shocked if they give the Chiefs. They give the Chiefs everything, man. So,
well, it's going to guarantee at least a 50-50 split as far as fans. Arrowhead Stadium seats around 76,000 people. So not nearly the crowd that you're going to have here in Lincoln. But Lucas Oil, they only seat 63,000. There would have been 13,000 less fans. So it's going to be a good game. It'll be fun to see how that happens. Yes, and we're going to the Pinstripe Bowl. That's happening in what, a week and a half or so here?
Yep, next Saturday.
It's going to be good. I'm going to see if we can get the boys down bad on. Kind of give us a plug this year or this week and kind of get an idea of what they think is going to happen during the bowl. So, all right, we're going to take our first break here. When we come back, we'll be joined by communications expert and author Lisa Moser. She's going to share 6 vital tips to positively handle disappointment. If you have questions or comments throughout the show, phone lines are always open, 402-479-1400. Thanks so much for listening to Drive Time Nebraska.
Whatever the story, have your say.
How can politics not play a role?
Your station, your conversation.
It's all relevant.
1499.3 KLIN.
At Pemberley Place Senior Living here in Lincoln, our experts help you enjoy life every step of the way. Pemberley Place offers a continuum of care campus for independent living, assisted living, and memory care. Surround yourself with activity, good friends, great food, and a new outlook on life. Plus all the personalized and attentive care you deserve. For apartment availability, visit PemberleyPlace.com. That's PemberleyPlace.com, an MJ Senior Living community.
When lack of sound has you down, Captain Audio and Hearman will save the day.
Turn left here.
What?
Quick, get them to where we can help.
Christensen Audiology in 3 blocks.
Huh? Don't worry, sir. The consultation is free.
Then we'll use sound testing and high-tech equipment to determine the issue and eliminate it.
We're here.
Our staff will take care of everything.
Call Christensen Hearing Analytics at 489-3450. That's 489-3450.
Discover the difference with Oak Electric, a local woman-owned business offering premium electrical service at competitive prices. With over 25 years of experience, their master electrician is one of Lincoln's top experts. Their small, dedicated team focuses on quality control and safety for your family or business. Experience the premium customer service you deserve. When life happens, call Oak Electric at 402-440-5969 because they always answer the phone. Oak Electric, where quality and safety come first.
In this season of togetherness, support older adults through Tabitha. Remember Lincoln area residents who just don't have the luxury of friends or family nearby, or the means to shop for and cook food. 81% cannot afford to cover the cost of this meal delivery that allows them to remain independent at home. Give the gift of meals with Tabitha Meals on Wheels. Go to tabitha.org/serve and make a donation today. Tabitha Foundation is a purpose-driven 501c3 nonprofit. Your donation is tax deductible.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. Disagree with Doug? The guests? The topic? Call or text 402-479-1400 now to be a part of the show. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Mainly clear and chilly this evening with the temperature dropping to around 30 by midnight. After midnight, increasing clouds and cold with a low temperature in the mid-20s. Tuesday, partly to mostly cloudy, cooler and breezy with a high temperature in the upper 40s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
KLIN Time Saver Traffic, delivered by Paisanos, Lincoln's best brick oven pizza.
On the downhill side of our drive time traffic, no accidents or major delays. Most everyone doing a great job. A few volume slowdowns, and we do have several construction projects. We'll want to use caution as we move through and around. Keep in mind, South 56, South Street to normal. Southbound shift to the northbound lane for utility work. Also, work continues on Normal Boulevard, 33rd to 40th. Eastbound lane closure shift to the center lane for a paving project. Make sure the headlights are on. If you come across anything that slows you down, call the traffic hotline 402-479-1414. Keeping you moving with Time Saver Traffic. I'm Chris Lofgren.
Training threes on the issues that truly matter to Nebraskans, with the occasional technical or two. This is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald, 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, do you want the best prices in gold, silver, platinum, and palladium in town, in the state, Midwest? Lincoln Coin and Bullion is the place to go if you're interested in buying some gold and silver. Check them out. Plus, online, they're very competitive. So, plus you don't have to pay shipping. That's what I like. So you can just go in there, actually see the product, handle the product, walk out with it. Be your own shipper. Be your own shipper. Ship your own bullion right to your house. So anyway, Lincoln Coin and Bullion been around for over 15 years. My trusted precious metals dealer for well over a decade. Call them up for a personal appointment, 402-327-2853. And you can also go to their website, lincolncoinandbullion.com. Well, Friday, we were joined by Senator Deb Fischer. I always love talking to her, and we discussed Trump's cabinet picks, National Defense Authorization Act, a lot more. Plus, she shared some cool information that Wyatt and I were talking about giving us an invitation, all of us, an invitation to Trump's inauguration. Here's that segment. Last time you were on the show, you broke some news that you're on Trump's inauguration committee and that you'll be introducing him, which is really awesome. How's the planning going so far?
Oh, it's very exciting. The planning's going well. There's of course a lot of planning that goes into this, and I'm just looking forward to it. If I'd like to put it out there, if people are interested here in Nebraska on coming to the inauguration, please contact my office. We put out a press release on that. You'll need a ticket to get on the mall. So please contact my office, and we'll try and make sure that tickets will be available for Nebraskans to be there.
I will. Yeah, I will promote that. That would be awesome. I heard.
Well, did you get the press release on it? If you want to contact my office, we can get you that information, and that'd be great if you promoted it. Just such a really special experience to watch that swearing in ceremony and how in our nation we are able to do that.
I heard, and maybe you can clarify, that Meta or Facebook donated about $10 million to the inauguration. Is that right?
Well, not to us.
No, just in general?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
I assume they donated it to President Trump has a committee.
Oh, okay.
To put on the balls and things like that. But I know we are obviously a part of government, Congress, and we have a budget that we work with. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. That's why I heard when I came in, they say, ask Senator Fischer about if Zuckerberg's donating $10 million. So.
Well, yeah, that's breaking news to me, Doug.
You can check out the full episode of that show on our podcast at klin.com or any podcast platform. Well, this week we're highlighting a few powerful shows that we had in 2024. We had a lot of them, a lot of great guests, and looking forward to 2025. Today we're going to rehear from communications expert Lisa Moser. Lisa's former Miss Ohio USA, former Mrs. International, author, international speaker, and successful businesswoman from Ohio. And in this episode, she shares 6 vital tips to help us positively handle disappointment. It's almost guaranteed. It is guaranteed. All of us are going to experience some disappointment in our lives, many of us many times throughout our lives. And how do you handle that? How do you deal with it? How do you work through that? Especially with the election, a lot of disappointment from different people. So I'm excited to have my dear friend Lisa Moser on the show. Lisa's former Miss Ohio USA, former Mrs. International. She's an author, international speaker, and successful businesswoman herself. And her passion is helping people realize that everyone has a message that matters, and it needs to get out to the world. Her book is called Misconception, a book about her personal message, where she shares her aspirations to help women and men who face insecurities brought on by social ideals and what they should look like and become, as well as our own expectations as well. So Lisa, welcome to Drive Time Nebraska for the first time.
Thanks, Doug. Yes, I've never been on the Drive Time.
I know. This is, you've been on One Shot, One Life several times.
Yep.
We've had you previously on KLIN, but this is the first time on the show here. And I'm excited to bring you on because we were talking earlier today and I'm like, you know what? We had talked about all the election stuff, people being disappointed. And it went back to a show that we did a while back where we talked about disappointment. And, you know, you're not exempt from disappointment. You and your husband have also, you and Dawn have had some disappointment in business throughout your life over the last couple of years. And why don't you share a little bit about that, your story, and then we'll get into these 6 tips that are really going to be able to help us out.
Yeah. So I've had, lots of disappointment in things that I've done or started something and it didn't go well, or, partnering with people that doesn't go well, disappointments in life. I mean, my daughter was diagnosed with diabetes when she was 8 years old. So many things that you feel, right? And you have to walk through them. I will say that this past several months with the election and everything has really been something. I think I've never been a political person. I've never really been into politics until this election. And it was just like, how could you not? It was literally like a soap opera watching it, reality show from the time that it started and all the things. And so for me, I was always taught, even in business, that number one, you don't talk about politics and you don't talk about religion. Those are two very polarizing things, right? They're very polarizing. People have very strong views. And so in my life and in my career and things that I've done with the public, I learned very early on that that's just something that you don't talk about. You have your own views. I do. I talk to my friends, or if somebody wants to have a conversation, I'm happy to have one, but I don't do that. And I obviously don't share my frustrations on social media or anything like that, because for me, like we talk about these 6 tips, that's number one is the big thing. It's like, take time to feel it, but you got to do it. You got to get it out. You can't be burning bridges or making yourself. You just can't.
What do you do if you're a radio host and you have to have an opinion?
Well, you can have. That's different. My job, I never had to have that kind of opinion.
Right, and that's the whole thing. I didn't either until I started this show in April, and I knew I had to make a decision myself. I knew if I was going to expose some of my platform that I was going to get attacked, so I had to be prepared for that. Yes. But outside of that, I'm like you. I don't share anything on social media. I don't bring up anything unless somebody brings it up. Even if some people bring it up and I know how they're going to react, I don't even respond because I don't want to go there.
Same. I don't comment on people's stuff because there's just no sense. Because what I've always been taught, what I know, is that people have their views and you're not going to change them. And so this is so funny. I have one of my dearest friends. We have different religious backgrounds. She's a Mormon and I'm not. But we have great conversations about it because we love each other, and we just agree to disagree, and we'll make comments, and we love each other, and that's it. And it's all in love, and we just know that we have our own opinions on things. And it's the same way with politics, her and I both have the same in politics. So at least we can agree on that. But, there's friends in my own family. I have 4 children. I have 2 sons-in-laws, girlfriends. We have a lot of people in our home, and it is a house divided when it comes to politics. And so for my husband and I, we have all just agreed that we do not discuss it. We just don't discuss it. Everybody has their views. Everybody can have their views, but it's not going to come between our family, right? And I've seen it happening. I'm seeing it happening now. And it's like, why are you letting 2 people that don't even know you, that are running for president and all the things, why are you letting those 2 people and the way you feel come between the people that you do truly love? Those people don't know you, but you're willing to put it on the line and divide your family. It just makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. But Doug, on the reverse, what you do, I know
that's why I started out make love, not war.
Yeah, I got to
balance it.
That you will state your opinion. And I've thought about it. It's like, what if I don't do politics. What if I decided I did get into it this time. And I'm like, what if I decided I wanted to run for something? I mean, that would be funny. But, then you have to kind of share what you feel. But I know you, and I know a lot of people that would do that and listen to the other person, and listen to what they're feeling and share yours. You are not the person that would actually hurt somebody's feelings. I mean, yeah, you see the videos and the meltdowns or whatever, and it's like, oh my goodness. But you would never, ever do anything to hurt anybody. I know that about you. So,
well, thank you. And I think that goes back to, for most people, except for that first point that I talked about in the first segment, some people just suck. But other than those people, the reality is when you get to know people and you have, like Sarah said here, civil discourse needs to make a comeback. If you can decide to have civil discourse and don't prejudge your expectation for somebody else of what you think they might be thinking or saying, even if they do say it. Sometimes we say things and 100%. We don't mean them, or they're taken out of context. So.
Right. And even like I was saying, in our family, I mean, sometimes we will have conversations, but it's usually not in a huge group. It's usually, I'll just talking to my daughter about it about a month or so ago, and we were chatting about it, and she was like, I just don't know. And, we were talking about our views on certain things, and she said, I like that we can just talk about it. She said, and I like that I don't know. She goes, I have no idea what my friends are. And I don't care, and we don't talk about it, and I don't need to know, so that's just, a lot of people are just different, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Jim says it's always tricky to love people right where they're at. However, it's worth the effort. Bless them and don't judge them. So
100%. I love Jim.
Yeah.
Hi, Jim.
So I was just looking, we're going to take a break here, Wyatt, but I was just looking here, and especially your platform, Lisa, especially when you're working with people and you're speaking from stages like Miss USA, Nationwide, Fox, NBC, CBS, ABC, Americans Diabetes Association, iHeartRadio, Bristol Myers Squibb. I mean, JDRF. I mean, you have worked with some major organizations and spoken to major organizations, and learning how to have that balance in an appropriate way. Obviously, you have to know the context of where you're speaking and who you're speaking to. So
100%.
All right. Well, we're going to take,
know your audience. Know your audience.
That's right. And that's what you're an expert at. So we're going to take a break here. We will dig into these 6 vital tips to positively handle disappointment that Lisa has. They are fantastic, and they will help all of us out as we move forward. Cities from across the state, they are listening to Drive Time Nebraska.
Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
1499.3 KLIN.
First time buying or selling silver or gold? Lincoln Coin and Bullion is Nebraska's largest historic currency and bullion dealer, with staff happy to inform and educate. Give them a call.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
The tackle box may be put away for the season, but the smart fisherman knows there's still some fishing to be done. What he'll be fishing for now is new gear for Christmas. As with any kind of fishing, each fisherman has his own style and strategy when trying to land the present he wants. One fisherman may drop a casual hint, telling his wife that his reel may not make it through another year. Another may take a more direct approach, decorating the Christmas tree with a colorful selection of lures. Then there's a hardcore fisherman who needs to be absolutely sure he gets the gear he wants. You can find him at the mall, sitting on Santa's lap.
Any big box store can sell you the gear, but the gear doesn't catch the fish. You do. If you want to catch more fish, or if you'd like to give the gift of fishing this Christmas, visit the experts at Wolf Tackle just south of Highway 2 on 48th Street. Gift certificates are available now.
I'm Peter Roman at Wolf Tackle, and like you know, a fishing tall tale won't put you on the naughty list. We know fishing.
Discover a higher standard when you explore a new vehicle at Woodhouse GMC. Experience the newest GMC vehicles equipped with expert capabilities and the latest technology to transform your driving experience. Stop in and save with our current offers going on now. Save up to $10,747 off MSRP on the 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali 4x4. Woodhouse GMC. We are professional grade. With approved credit. Must currently own or lease a 2010 or newer Buick or GMC to qualify. $299 down fee due at signing. Stock number V240626. Offer expires January 2nd, 2025. See dealer for details.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. More of the show coming up on 1499.3 KLIN. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Mainly clear and chilly this evening, with the temperature dropping to around 30 by midnight. After midnight, increasing clouds and cold with a low temperature in the mid-20s. Tuesday, partly to mostly cloudy, cooler and breezy with a high temperature in the upper 40s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
KLIN Time Saver Traffic, delivered by Paisanos, Lincoln's best brick oven pizza.
Wrapping up our traffic reports, no new accidents or major delays. Most everyone doing a great job. Everybody gets a gold star. We do have several construction projects and utility projects. We'll want to watch for lane shifts and lane closures. Keep in mind, South Street, Cotner to 40th, that area is closed for utility work. And West A Street, Southwest 27th to Southwest 30th, local access only for paving project. Make sure the headlights are on, keeping you moving with Time Saver Traffic. I'm Chris Lofgren.
Now, back to more Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, Jennifer, thanks so much for the shout out from all the way from Kenya. Now we can just say, everybody listen to Drive Time Nebraska around the world. So thanks for listening. We appreciate that. Welcome back. Quick programming note for this week and next week. Starting next week, we're going to take about a week and a half off. No show due to Christmas and New Year's being right in the middle of the week. So what I thought we'd do this week is we're going to highlight a few of our shows from this past year, 8 months plus, a lot of shows, a lot of great guests. And it's hard to kind of pick and choose which ones, but we've got some great shows lined up. And obviously, if you want to hear one again as well, you can call us up or text 402-479-1400. Today, we are rehearing from communications expert Lisa Moser. Lisa, former Miss Ohio USA, former Mrs. International, author, international speaker, successful businesswoman, and so much more. She is sharing 6 vital tips to help us positively handle disappointment.
Okay, today's guest, that voice you hear there, is communications expert Lisa Moser. We're talking about how to handle disappointment, like if the Huskers lose a football game or two. And actually, this is really good. Actually, it's actually good. Oh, no, here we go. There we go. Here's another post by David. What a great pair. Two of the best. At least he didn't say anything about Iowa. So that's his team. Nope. All right, Lisa, you have 6 vital tips. Let's dig into these before our time runs out to positively handle disappointment. What's tip number 1?
Well, tip number 1 was take time to feel it. Give yourself permission to be frustrated. So when they lose, Doug, if they lose, you just got to give yourself that permission. Okay. Take 25 hours. You might need more than 24. So take an extra one, but take that time to just kind of give yourself permission to feel it, get it out, do all the things, but don't burn bridges during that time.
Thank you.
When you are frustrated about something, when you are having a hard time, the last thing you want to do is take it out on someone or burn any bridges. You don't want to, and we all have done it. We all have. I'm just, I'm talking to myself as well, but you don't want to burn bridges. Even when you get in arguments with friends or your spouse, you got to kind of take a step back and this is kind of what got you, not you in trouble, but what you were talking about yesterday is don't get on social media.
Yes, that was my whole point about it.
Don't email people. Just take that minute to kind of get yourself back together. Realize you're frustrated. Realize, that you feel bad about whatever it is and give yourself time to kind of get over that before you do or say or show videos of something.
Right. Well, because they were videos of threats, hatred, spewing like poison.
People
that shouldn't be out there.
They are. And they're angry. And you know what? It could be the other way if it was the other way.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's not one or the other. And that's the thing. It's like, it's not all Democrats are crazy because they have all these videos, because if it was vice versa.
Well, Wyatt pointed out Republicans are nuts sometimes too.
Yeah. Everybody is. When you're that passionate about something. Yeah. Right. When you're overly passionate about something, you have a tendency, one of you is going to lose. And then, hey, you want to go, how many times have you seen pageant people where it's like the girls stomp off, because there's only one. It's just when you work really hard for something, there's that frustration that comes with it.
I judged a pageant and the judges had to be escorted out of the room because a mom wasn't happy.
Yeah. It's like you put your heart and soul into something, right? You really have put your heart and soul into whatever it is, an election or whatever. And you do that. And then when you're disappointed, it comes at you pretty hard.
So, I agree with you. Take time privately.
Yes. And then the second one is confide in a trusted friend or what I call seek wise counsel, right? Somebody that was going to help you process the situation, right? In a very balanced way. somebody that you're going to be willing to hear, and they're going to be willing to speak truth. And so that's the difference between just being upset, with the election or whatever, and then seeking someone that really can talk you off the ledge, make you see things that a little more clearly, and that that, like I said, that can speak to you, and you're not going to be like, somebody that you respect. That's a huge one.
And somebody that's willing to take the brunt of that frustration that you have, not in a bad way, not in a abusive way, but in a way that, like Tammy's mine, right? My wife, like she's 100%. If she's upset about something, I'm her sounding board, and vice versa. And you have to have that safe space to be able to communicate that, but make sure it's a person that's a safe space with.
Right.
Because man, if you share things with somebody that has loose lips, that's not good.
Yes. You want to be able to share how you truly feel, because sometimes we don't know how we feel and we're just feeling away. But you have to have that safe person that you can share all the way you're feeling, and that it's not going to come back that you were, oh, guess what they said. It's like, oh, that's not good.
Here we go. All right. Tip number 3.
Tip number 3 is process the situation to find out what's true, right? Because you get angry and things that you're seeing things the way you want to see them, but you have to take a minute and see like what's true. That number 1, no one's perfect. Seek out the truth from all sides, and that's the way with this election. People are one-sided or the other. So can you kind of set back and know that you're hurt, but maybe see other sides in the way people are seeing things, and kind of understand the truth behind it, and that's hard, Doug, now with social media and all the false news that's out there and people putting things out there. It's hard to really kind of see that, but try to seek truth from all sides. And it's so much better to deal with any confrontation also sooner than later, right? Don't hold on to things and harbor that.
I think one thing that I've seen on social media where people are posting things, I always tell people this too, be very careful about using absolute words. In other words, if I'm in an argument with my wife and say, you always do this, or you never do that, or MAGA parents always, or left parents always, never, no. I mean, those absolute words are just not true, number 1. And number 2, it causes that defensive wall to jump up immediately. I mean, it's just like, so you can't process that, and finding out what's really true when you're throwing that kind of stuff out there.
Right. And it's okay to feel how you feel, or with your safe person to say that I feel this, and because that is how you feel, but hopefully you're talking to someone that can, number 1, acknowledge that that's how you feel, and, and let you feel like you're being heard. Right. But then also kind of helping you see things in a different light.
Kind of like Wyatt here, 23 years old. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He kind of lays things out for me, gives me a different perspective.
Yeah,
right,
100%.
Don't you, Wyatt?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, has a lot of words.
Yesterday he had a bunch of words. I'm telling you what. Yesterday he had a bunch of words, and you go back and listen to the podcast. So, all right, we're going to take our final break here, Lisa, and when we come back, we'll get through tips number 4, 5, and 6. These have been great, by the way. Tips to really help us positively handle disappointment. Thanks so much for listening on your drive home today. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Severe weather means interruptions. Check closings and cancellations anytime at KLIN.com.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. Sports Nightly is next on 1499.3 KLIN.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
You may have heard about Monolith. How right here in Nebraska, we're producing low-emission carbon black for tires across North America. How we'll soon be providing farmers with locally made fertilizer to reduce our reliance on foreign imports. how we're investing hundreds of millions in multiple Nebraska facilities. You might have heard Monolith is changing the world. We're not. You are. Along with many other Nebraskans in high-paying jobs that support families and communities. Monolith, Nebraska made.
When you or a loved one hears the words, "you have cancer," you want to make sure you're surrounded by a team you can trust, who will be a true partner in your cancer journey. At NHO, you'll be treated like family, and you'll feel that compassion every time you walk through our doors. After all, this is the fight of your life, and you'll need the best people to be on your side. We're Nebraska Hematology Oncology. On your side, by your side.
This is Pastor Steve from Calvary Community Church. I want to invite you to come and experience the joy of the Christmas holidays with our church family. 2,000 years ago, God gave to us the greatest gift humanity has ever received, the gift of His only begotten Son, born in a manger in Bethlehem for everyone. And that is the gift we want to share with you during the month of December. Join us on Sundays at one of our 3 services or on Christmas Eve at 3 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. We're located at 1st and Superior in Northwest Lincoln. Check out our website at mycalvary.org.
Give the gift of Tabitha's Meals on Wheels delivery. Remember older Lincoln residents who don't have friends and family nearby or the means to shop for and cook food. Go to tabitha.org/serve and donate today. Tabitha Foundation is a purpose-driven 501c3 nonprofit. Your donation is tax deductible.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. More of the show coming up on 1499.3 KLIN. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Mainly clear and chilly this evening with the temperature dropping to around 30 by midnight. After midnight, increasing clouds and cold with a low temperature in the mid-20s. Tuesday, partly to mostly cloudy, cooler and breezy with a high temperature in the upper 40s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
Raising the roof on the issues that truly matter to Nebraskans. With the occasional net violation, you're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, due to the holidays being smack dab in the middle of 2 weeks in a row, we're going to take a break on the show starting next week. So what we do this week is we're like, you know what? Let's play a few of our awesome guests and shows that we had in 2024 since we're 8 months into the show, and then we'll kick off 2025 down the road. So today we're hearing from Lisa Moser. She is a former Miss Ohio USA, author, international speaker, has spoken all over the world, really, and she's a successful businesswoman from Ohio. She's right in the middle of sharing her 6 vital tips to help us positively handle disappointment.
All right, today we're joined by communications expert Lisa Moser, and she's been sharing with us 6 vital tips to positively handle disappointment, like a loss for a Husker game or something like that. So election, maybe something happens at home with relationships, or maybe work doesn't go the way you want it to go. There's so many disappointments that come around. Your first tip was to take time to feel it, give permission to get frustrated. Number 2 is confide in a trusted friend, seek wise counsel. Number 3, process the situation to find out what's going on and what's true. What's tip number 4, Lisa?
Well, after you've done all the first 3, then it's really time to kind of think about and rectify any wrongs that happened during 1, 2, and 3, right? During the anger, during the processing, what you said. So, take the high road, give people the benefit of the doubt. How do you want to be remembered, and what kind of example do you want to set? So, there's a lot of times that we say things or we don't mean, or we're frustrated. We have to kind of step back and acknowledge it and take the high road or whatever that is, and kind of right our wrongs. Because usually when we are in that state, you're frustrated. So of course, we all do it. Right. You're just frustrated, and we've all been in fights with our spouses or whatever, where we say something and then it's like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I was mad. So, go back and just kind of rectify that.
I think another thing too is, and this may not have to deal with disappointment, but something that I have to do to get off my conscience at night is, if I even think I've said something wrong to somebody, I go back and relive. And maybe you can help me out with this. Maybe this is a psychological thing, but sometimes I go back throughout at the end of the day and relive conversations. I don't know if anybody else does that. And I go, oh, what if they took that out of context? Or whoa, what if they thought I meant something different? And if I think and I know this is weird sometimes, but if I think I have offended somebody, I will contact them and try to make it right before I go to bed. Otherwise, it'll keep me up half the night. It really will.
And that is your personality. I mean, I've known you for years, and you have that empathy that, and I'm the same way as far as I'm an overthinker. And so I can even do that if I send somebody a text or something, and they don't text me back. I'm like, did they take that wrong? You know what? It's just who we are as people. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to, and then I'll overthink it. I mean, my husband would tell you, you overthink things too much. They didn't mean anything by it, but that's just personality types, right? You've got the empath and the, other people who just, they can say it. And if you don't like it, get over it because they don't care. That's just different personalities.
And I think especially with this point, I think it's really good, Lisa. With my kids, I have always tried, if I've done something wrong or if I've disappointed my kids, which we do as parents. I mean, sometimes I say, you know what? I wish we would have been parents. I wish God would have made it so we were parents when we were 70 years old and not like 22 years old, because we'd live things differently, right? But if you make a mistake with your kids, I have always been the first to apologize to them or say, hey, you know what? I am sorry I disappointed you with that or said that or whatever, because that sets an example for them. You know, I mean, you want to talk about
everybody's can be wrong. I mean, we all make mistakes, right? Even our parents.
Well, and then, I think we joke about it in our culture, but a lot of times they say, well, if you're adult kids now, you blame your emotions on your parents. Well, the reality is parents have a great opportunity to make sure that doesn't happen. Like, deal with things as they happen. So
no, that's true. Although I do think you're always going to get blamed for something.
That's right.
Because we just don't know what we're doing.
And be willing to take it.
Yeah. And I always say once your kids have kids, they kind of understand it more, right? It's like,
I don't know yet, but you do.
I do. Yes. It's like all of a sudden it's like, oh man, that's gotta be hard, So.
All right. Tip number 5 for us.
Tip number 5 is 5 opportunities in the disappointment to move forward. Like don't give up, don't shut down. Right. And sometimes the best decision is just to step away. And so that's even with people. Sometimes I find that when when you're assessing a friendship, maybe that something's happened or relationship or something, sometimes there's a point where you don't give up on it and you fight through it. And there's you don't want to shut down because that's just going to drag it out. But sometimes the best decision is to step away from it for a while to give that time to heal. And that's real important.
Sometimes and I shared a little bit about this on the air about a little over a month ago. I had something happen to me where a business was basically out of the blue, just taken from me. And that was hard. I actually found out about it while I was on the air trying to interview somebody, which is crazy. Yeah. So, but we took that time. It took a couple of days. I didn't take 24 hours on that one. It took a couple of days, but then about 4 or 5 days into it, as we were processing this with friends, colleagues, people that I trust, a whole new business opportunity came out of the blue. So keeping your mind open to say, and I think our friend Tracy Morrow says, don't have a mind of lack, have a mind of abundance, right?
Yeah. And that's hard to do when you're in that space, isn't it?
Yes. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was in the same situation with a business that I had been a part of for years. And, it was just, I loved it. It was just my thing. And then all of a sudden it was like the same type of thing. It was just gone. And you're sitting there looking and thinking, my gosh, and it took me more than 24 hours to get over it. You're really trying to heal, right? Because of the big disappointment and things like that. So I understand, even with the election, it's not a business, but I understand that feeling of, oh my gosh, you've just given everything to this. And so it does take time to heal, but don't give up. There's, like the people that are saying they're moving out of the country or whatever. It's like, don't give up the ship. Let's all get together and see if we can just make this thing work. Right?
There's a whole list that haven't moved out of the country yet. They said they were going to.
I know.
They said they were going to, but they never did. So no, I think that's really important. I think disappointment happens in relationships and then new relationships come. It's like Garth Brooks. What was Garth Brooks' song? Unanswered Prayers. Do you remember that song where he talks about losing his girlfriend he thought he was going to marry, and then he went back to a football game and saw that girlfriend with his wife, and he's like, man, I think basically he was saying, thank God I didn't marry her. Point being is disappointment can lead to great things in the future if you
And
allow
don't
it
you
to be
really
open.
find that to be true?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
If your mind is open to it. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people that I know, though, that become
close down.
total Eeyores and shut down.
Yes, 100%. And we see that even as parents with our kids, the boyfriends, the breakups.
Yep.
And you're saying, oh, honey, I promised you that you're going to look back someday and you're going to be so glad that this guy dumped you because you're going to be with, I remember saying that to my daughter, you're going to have a husband and children and you're going to be so glad that this happened, but you don't feel it in the moment,
Yep.
right? You just don't. And there's really nothing that anybody can say to make you feel better. It's a mindset for yourself. And then when you're 17, 16, that's hard. But as we get older, we learn that mindset, right, Doug? And it's like, okay, for me in my life, when a door closes, the old saying, when one door closes, another one opens, is always been so true. It's always been true. We don't always like it in the beginning, but if we keep an eye out for it,
Get up off the
a
couch.
reason why.
Get up off the couch and open the door.
Yeah, you got to do that first. Exactly. And so, and then number 6 is just learn from it. Learn from what you've done. That way you can kind of get better at future disappointments because they're going to happen. They always do. It's life. And I think we learn from it. And as we get older, we learn how to get over it quicker. You see young people that are melting down with certain things on social media and then hopefully they're going to look back at that and say, why did I put that on social media? Because you can't take it away. But, just learning from it because you're going to learn to develop more of a healthy culture, through your communication, through clear expectations, responsibilities, and that's going to help you kind of learn from the disappointment you had. That's the most important thing in life, I think, is to learn from our highs, right? How do we handle our highs? How do we handle, doing that? And then how do we handle those lows? I mean, I think there's lessons in both, Doug, and I think a lot of times people just aren't open to it and they just see highs is I'm doing great and lows is, oh my gosh, I'm a failure.
Something that came to mind when I went through that situation about a month ago, and I did have a video on social media. And one of the things that came to me during that video that it didn't come from me, it came from God, was crisis reveals character.
Yeah.
So when you're in the depths of that crisis, it reveals the character of who you are, who you've prepared to be. And if you don't like that, you make that change, you learn from it and you grow. One of the things I had to do, it took me about 2 weeks from this situation that happened about a month ago. It took me about 2 weeks, but I was finally able to forgive, which frees everything up, right? Takes the chains off and lets you move forward 100%. But I had to take that time to be able to get through that process. And that's all learning.
All right. I want to thank Lisa Moser so much for not only being a guest in 2024, but then also being able to re-air these awesome tips. So if you want to listen to the podcast of this show, go to klin.com or your favorite podcast service. Big thanks to my producer, Wyatt. There's only 82,800 seconds left until we see each other again, my friends. Seize everyone. Sports Nightly's up next. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.